Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 167 of the AllYouCanHear podcast. I'll be your host today, Patrick, and joining me today are my three cantankerous co-hosts.
Jonathan.
Cold.
Weathered Wenzel. You know, weathered, like old.
Okay, I get it.
He's weathered, he's haggard, he's beaten down by the brutal forces of life.
But I'm stronger than ever.
Sure, whatever, bud.
Yeah, he's tight and sinewy like a strip of leather.
Like Robert De Niro.
I don't know if I like that comparison.
You don't want to be tight like Robert De Niro? All right.
Yeah, tight like he was in Cape Fear.
I've never seen that.
Is that where he's like super fucking jacked?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he's clinging onto the bottom of a car.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be that.
And he plays a fucking terrible person. The character is. A rapist country bumpkin.
Well, now I don't.
It's not Robert De Niro. He's not that person.
I know.
This is a character.
I know. It's just, man, what a turn.
And you took us there, Wenzel.
Yeah, thank you, Wenzel.
Sorry, I just didn't want to be old Robert.
Already started, they were derailed.
Sorry.
But speaking of old, we'll be talking about, once again, retro anime. And if you remember our first one, that's where we went through anime from our childhoods and talked about these old series that got us into anime and that we had this very fond recollection for. But this iteration of retro anime review, we're doing things a little bit differently. While, yes, we are talking about a selection of old anime, but what we're doing, this is a blind review. So what we did was we found several anime that we just sort of picked out of the blue just because we thought looked neat or had an interesting synopsis.
And we're guessing the story. That's it. It's a blind review where we're guessing what it would be like if we did watch it. Oh, a swing and a miss, I guess. Damn.
No,
Tough crowd.
no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
There's two different sets of show notes, and I don't know which one is right.
Actually, I have my own show notes. I had this one written by Tanner.
Oh, fuck.
I just came in. I got show notes from Cody.
I just got show notes from my neighbor. I've never talked to this guy.
Oh man, I got show notes from the lizard in the corner. Hi, lizard.
Oh,
I just
God.
got show notes from Gabby.
Oh, my God.
It's just a bunch of math
there
problems.
are too many cooks in this kitchen.
I got show notes from my dead grandparents. What?
It's from the afterlife. Too many cooks spoil a stew.
Where did they get our show notes? How did they know we're going to do this? What the fuck?
Well, see, Gabby wrote hers in math problems, so I gotta figure this shit out.
No, the boys at top are not going to like this.
I'll spank a boy up top. Don't fuck with me.
Whoa!
Wait, are you a boy up top? Did you just get spanked?
What the fuck?
Okay, we got to move on, please. I don't want to hear Jonathan moan anymore.
We'll edit to where his moan pops up every 60 seconds just in the loop.
Oh, God.
But anyhow, like we said, we're going through several anime that we just picked because they thought they looked interesting as a blind review. Series we had never seen before, but just wanted to try out. And the first series we're talking about today is Giant Gorg. This was originally airing in 1984. It was a run of 26 episodes, currently streaming on Retro Crush, Tubi, Amazon Prime, and Crunchyroll. And Giant Gorg is about a young boy named Yu Tagami, and after the sudden death of his father, he travels to America to see his father's colleague. And together they uncover the work that the two did involving a mysterious island that showed up. And one interesting thing about this series, before we get into it, the director for the show was Yoshikazu Yasuhiko, which is widely known as the character designer for Mobile Suit Gundam. Now, Cole, you were the one that picked out this show. What drew you to want to watch Giant Gorg? The Gundam connection?
Yeah, it wasn't really a Gundam connection because I didn't know that it was the character designer from Mobile Suit Gundam. I noticed it along the way, but the reason I picked it was because I've heard about it for years. Because every time big mech stuff was mentioned, this is like one of the first ones you hear. And just wanted to watch it because of Big Blue Mech, and it looked pretty cool from the art.
And a little bit of a spoiler alert, Giant Gorg, the titular robot, he doesn't actually show up until about halfway through the 4th episode.
Are you serious?
So there's a good bit of intrigue and drama that happens on the way to the giant robot.
And I will say, I'm okay with that, because I personally really, really like this. This is probably my favorite out of the whole batch, because I just thought it was pretty fun. The way that it's set up in New York, it's like New York from Japan's point of view, but it's New York from the 1970s, and it's so dark and depressing and just a nasty feeling.
It's New York now.
Yeah, I mean, New York's got that.
As someone who's been to New York, that's the subway is accurately portrayed.
It's only piled on.
But it's a little bit better because they have big TVs on every building now.
True.
Yeah.
But God, every other frame there was the word "fuck."
Yeah.
Like on a wall.
Oh shit! I didn't even pay attention. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see how, because it was pretty fucking big every time. It was like "fuck."
Because they had like shit and poop and dirt and bang and just random English profanity just scrawled on a wall. And like Colt was saying, like this is from like a Japanese perspective of New York in a certain frame of time. I'm sure they actually did some research and went there, but like.
I mean, they did research because in the first episode, they're like, here's a New York fun fact. Was it Darwin that they brought up, or was it Dickens?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, fuck, no, not even either. Edgar Allan Poe. They just said, here's a fact, Edgar Allan Poe lived here. Just out of nowhere.
That's a Snapple fact for you.
Yeah, it was like the one of the baddies or whatever was just like, this city is just as disgusting as when Edgar Allan Poe lived here, because Edgar Allan Poe lived here, remember?
But I really like this show too. We can't be remiss without talking about the opening to this episode, because it is a big oof. Big oof.
Yeah, that was one thing I was like, I don't know what about this opening, but it feels racist. I don't know why.
They did a racism.
To elaborate, the opening sequence has like this debaucherous party on a boat that is subsequently interrupted by a giant underwater explosion. But what makes it so uncomfortable, there is a black character in the party, but he's drawn in that very antiquated American cartoon style of like dark skin and big pink lips.
Yeah, the caricature from like the Sambo sort of thing.
And which is like this whole other conversation that we can't get into today, of just like the sins of American animation, because when you have Japan who has sort of consumed American cartoons from the old days without context, and they have like, this is one of the only visual representations in animation that they have of black people, and that persists even to today in Japan. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like this weird thing, because they don't really have as many black people in Japan to really speak up against these things. So like it's just one of those sort of animation traits that just has left to continue into the modern day. It has gotten better, but like it's like I said, it still persists. You'll still see it from time to time, and it's definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it was very uncomfortable at the start, but it quickly jumped into.
Progressively got better.
So it was literally just like a bit character, and then it moves on with the rest of the plot, which is the young boy Tagami exploring New York City and just being taken for a ride. Because like apparently the autonomy of Japanese children is such that they can go unsupervised to another country and just left to stumble around not knowing the language, and the most decrepit, derelict, dirty part of New York City, where like the doctor he goes to see is like he lives slovenly in this run-down apartment building where apparently only he and his sister and their Great Dane live.
And apparently this doctor entrusted his friend to take care of his child.
And the entire journey he takes throughout the city, he's just like, wow, this is amazing.
And the whole place looks like shit.
Yeah, that's like a giant dookie in the fucking road.
Yeah, it looks like shit, and then he gets robbed at one point, and he's still like, wow, this is amazing.
America is just wonderland.
And the thing is, I don't understand why he even left his bag. Like, you can hold your bag and spray graffiti at the same time.
Yeah, from your famous graffiti artist.
Like I said, can confirm, New York subways are that gross.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't add like the sliding puddle of piss that goes up and down on the railroad.
Oh, that's the free piss puddle, baby. I like to soak it up with my socks and then put my shoes on.
I like to splash some on my face.
really refreshes you up for the day at the office.
What you don't know, it's an exfoliant.
But to get back to it, he's meeting his dad's doctor friend.
Dr. Wave.
I don't know why. I was so fucking in. Compared to any other show, I was like paying attention and I was very into it. Like as soon as the wrecking ball starts smashing the building, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? I was hyper focused and I haven't felt that in a long time and it freaked me the fuck out after the fact. But it goes with after the wrecking ball is they're suddenly trying to be killed by the villains for some unknown reason.
Because the doctor knows too much about the island.
Because there's an evil business or conglomerate known as they pronounce it, Guile, but it's Gail or Gale in English, and they have interest on the island, the new astral island that the boy's father and Dr. Wave, his new guardian, is sort of interested in, and so obviously there's nothing more afoot. And they're trying to keep the quartet from reaching the islands because there's like many assassins. Like there's a guy trying to smash up the building with a wrecking ball. When they escape that, they just happen to remember it's Halloween. And when they go through this Halloween parade, like all these assailants with knives and like a guy with a car just tried to kill them by just like crazy. How many people are just after their blood?
But man, that dog was fucking some shit up.
Yeah,
that dog was a
Argos.
secret hero.
Mm-hmm.
Also, something else that John and I thought were funny, I don't know if y'all noticed, but they drew the whole dick on the dog.
Oh, yeah, they did. They totally did. I mean, good for them. I guess the Gundam guy loves some... I'm not saying that, okay?
Yeah, I wouldn't finish that sentence, Colt.
Yeah.
Hey, Argos. Nice cock.
Jonathan, that's a dog. The Halloween outfits were so cool. They felt like so simple, but so unique because they were dressed up as vegetables. There was like simple alien monsters as well. I just found that whole scene, that whole setting, it was just so interesting and like, I guess eye-catching. I was very engrossed in this. I don't know what the fuck happened to me when I was watching this. I don't know. I don't remember taking any drugs. Something happened when I was watching this.
It gets really trippy at points, like especially with the Halloween costumes.
Let me knock you down, Colt.
Please don't. I need to stand.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I thought you actually had something. Okay.
The robot was cool when you saw it in the intro.
Robot.
The robot.
I know, but like it didn't show up in the actual episode.
I know.
I was thinking episode content wise.
No, I understand.
They're getting to it. They're getting to the Gorg. But to Colt's point, I will say of all the ones we watched, Gorg is up there for me because I was a really big fan of obviously the early 80s style of animation. It felt very loose and fluid, how they're just kind of like, even though 80s anime can be very sort of stilted in some areas, they kind of obviously knew where the budget is being allocated to, like the sequence where the quartet is escaping through the skywalk and the fire escape. I thought that was really well made, especially even after it came crumbling down and then falling out of that. I thought that was well made, and I'm interested to see how they get to the giant robot. Because I like the idea of one of the early entries in the super robot into sort of genre, and I like the design. I think it's funny and it's like engaging enough, and even if it is fairly simple. And I was like, I'd be willing to catch back up with it because it seemed like it was just fun to watch for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 26 episodes, and I definitely want to continue watching it because here's probably a hot take. I enjoyed this first episode way more than I enjoyed the first episode of Mobile Suit Gundam. I think the first period, the whole first series of Gundam, or at least what I've seen, which is like I want to say 15 episodes of it. It was a slog. It was kind of boring. But the first episode got me into it, and I was in. I think my baby brain kicked in or something today, but I was really into it.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it.
because this episode ends on a cliffhanger. Because you see the quartet, they escape all the would-be assassins, but it seems like the attaché to the evil businessman, he corners them in an alley. He pulls his gun, and he apparently this handgun has enough power to blow all 4 of those fuckers out of the alleyway over a cliff, which I thought funny. And then it cuts to the end. But but this show ends with a tagline. It says, "Stay tuned next week. Same Gorg time, same Gorg channel."
I love that so much.
You gotta be Gorging me right now. This was a fun anime.
It was gorgeous. I loved it. It was, especially it was an '84 anime. I can't think of anything. I can't think of any anime before the '80s. I just cancel it all out.
Astro Boy, what's that?
Don't talk to me about Astro Boy.
Just get machine guns in his butt.
But hey, Giant Gorg, I say check it out. Hell yeah. If you like Gundam, I feel like you'll like this. It's definitely for the younger audience. And just check it out.
This definitely gets a recommendation from me as well. All right. And moving on to our next series, we have Blue Seed. It was originally airing in 1994 to 1995, has 26 episodes, and is currently streaming on Retro Crush, Tubi, and Amazon Prime. And Blue Seed is about a young girl named Momoji Fujiya who lives as a shrine priestess in training, and she is certainly thrown into this destiny plot when Japan is threatened with destruction as monstrous beings reemerge after years of slumber. And then she sort of and because of her family heritage, she's sort of at the center of all this. And this whole story is loosely inspired by the Japanese myth of Susanoo Oh and Yamato no Orochi. And I was very interested to see what you thought about this one, because this is another one of your picks, Colt.
I thought it was interesting at first. It slowly went into hell, in my opinion. As soon as she suddenly lost her pants and she was just in her panties, I was out. I was checked out. But
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
But the intro was so fun. I really liked it. It felt very atmospheric. And I want to say this. It's not just with Blue Seed, but it's also with another anime we have later. Horror anime just doesn't really exist anymore. Thinking about it, watching Blue Seed and then another future anime, I was actually feeling the horror vibes. I was kind of scared at some parts. Because, if I watched Blue Seed as a kid, this shit would have scarred me. Because the fucking blue ape masked guy in Inuyasha fucked me up. This would have killed me.
Just, traumatized for life.
Yeah. Going off what Colt said, yeah, this was poo-poo garbage. This was my least favorite.
Yeah, it looked interesting at first, how the Cade, it's spelled Cade, explodes.
It's weird how, because I don't know about the rest of y'all, we watched the dub on Amazon Prime, and I'm pretty sure the girl's name is Kaide, but the English voice actor, they probably weren't given a pronunciation guide, so they say Katie. And some of the dub voices were funny. There's a lady who works for the government organization that's kind of in charge of keeping these monsters under wraps. She has this weird husky voice that does not match the character.
Yeah, she sounds like she has goddamn mesothelioma. Just like she's a fairly young to middle-aged type of character, and she kind of talks like this.
She talks like an old waitress at a 1950s bar. It's kiss my grits. She has that kind of intonation. She's just a heavy smoker.
How you doing, honey?
My name's Terry. I used to be a smoker.
What can I get you?
Here's some extra bacon on the house.
More hash brown sugar.
Would you like those smothered and covered?
I'll smother them for you, personally.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought she was actually being nice.
I'll come on.
Wait,
you want to sop this up, baby?
Yeah, you want to slop my? I'm stopping.
Yeah. To go off what Colt says as well. Whenever she lost her pants or her skirt or whatever, and she was just in her panties, I just tapped out.
And we're talking about the main character, not
the main character,
mesothelioma woman.
That would have been jarring too, just in a different way.
I tapped out. I was done. I was like, all right.
It was mediocre and kind of boring, like after the intro, but then it like went to that part. That was when I said, I gotta check Twitter. There's something on there, I think. I only really remember the ending scene where the guy said, I'm gonna kill you. And then he just jumps into the forest. Was that the ending? I don't remember. It's all over the place.
Yeah, the weird, like, Inuyasha type character
because
that gets like blade arms at the end for reasons.
Because I will say, like, I did read up on this show a little bit before we watched, and it kind of just felt like I was reading just a bunch of words. And Jonathan had mentioned this when we were watching, like, they throw a lot at you, and it doesn't really start to click even at the very end of the episode. It's just like a bunch of bullshit they're just thrown at you, and it's just like, it only makes sense after I read the thing first, watched the show, then went back to read it. That's the only way it all clicked in my head for me.
Yeah, because it was about like halfway, 2/3 of the way through the episode, and I turned to Pat and was like, I have no fucking idea what's going on, and nor do I really give a shit. And then there's weird bits of CG, like early 90s
Oh,
CG.
yeah, the intro is like this, like, Apple II, like, early polygon intro. We're just, like, zipping around a city, and that's at the very top of the intro, and that's, like, unintentionally funny because it's just how dated it looks.
I will say this, as I get older, I start to appreciate the like 2D or weird CG they had in like the 90s and stuff like that. So I actually really liked the intro. I thought the song was fun. It had a nice aesthetic that I enjoyed.
Sure you do, nerd.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just this one. The ones that had intros, I actually liked all of them.
Because, like, I feel like one of the stronger points for Blue Seed, I was sort of vibing with the more horror aspects of it when we got to see it. Like there's an assailant that comes to attack the main girl. Like he's somehow involved with it because he has like these Magatama bees, these sort of blue comma shaped objects embedded in his body that cause his body to mutate because he has like cat eyes and 4 eyebrows apparently. And that when monsters show up, the beads glow, and he gets like these flesh blades that shoot out of his arm. And it was like low key, like gross to watch because he's in pain the whole time. It juts out of his arm, and you see like the cut where the blade came out, and just sort of squelches back together. So like those aspects I thought were very well done. Just an unclear narrative and how it just seems kind of frenetic and all over the place. And then, of course, you have the fan service at the end. It's just kind of like out of nowhere and just doesn't really have a place.
Yeah, because they made every attempt to show this poor girl's ass.
And like John and I, we agreed when we were watching, like the second there's like tentacle vines shot out of the trees, like, okay, something funny is about to happen with those vines. We've seen enough bullshit to know.
Yeah, someone's about to get penetrated.
That doesn't happen, thankfully, but homegirl, she gets her dress ripped off, so you just see her teddy bear panties as she falls down the stairs. You just see her ass the whole time she hits every step on the way down.
Yeah, I gotta say, this show sucks ass. Or just from the first episode, don't watch it. Do not watch it.
Yeah,
Poopy.
I wouldn't even care if like the rest of it was like goddamn Citizen Kane. That first episode was really poo-poo. So yeah, do not watch this show.
It's definitely hard to recommend because it's just confusing, and then fan service is kind of off-putting and out of place. So like this one just be better off sort of finding something else.
If you want to have a little taste of the past intro, just check out the intro. Just look up Blue Seed intro. That's all you need.
See those radical 3D graphics.
Yeah, baby. It's the future. That's what the PlayStation 2 is going to look like.
There's going to be 2 PlayStations?
Oh, shit. When
did the PlayStation 1 come out? Was it out by this point? 1994, 95?
I think it was like 93.
96.
I don't know. I wasn't what the fuck?
87.
That doesn't... Oh, 1803.
1792.
Yeah, 1803.
Hut hike.
It's just a wooden box filled with fireflies.
God, I don't know. I wasn't alive. I wasn't born yet. I don't fucking know.
I wasn't I wasn't in this universe yet.
You fucking babies.
Oh, Stardust. Don't fucking trash talk me.
Granted, when this show came out, I was literally a baby.
Yeah.
The only show I wasn't alive for was Giant Gorg.
Fucking boomer.
Boomer! Fuck you.
Boomer.
I
Fuck
don't want to
you,
hear it from
punk-ass
you little
bitch.
tiny baby
Boomer
shitheads.
bitch. Fuck you.
Boomer.
I was only alive for one of these, so fuck you.
What a
Yeah.
coward. Well, I was toiling in everyday life. You babies were pissing around in the void like a bunch of
Yeah, I
layabouts.
was.
Boomer.
You were so jealous. Yeah, you were like, "Oh, I'm 8 years old. Oh, or I'm 9 years old. I can't piss myself anymore."
Yeah, and then us, we were just floating around in space, parts of us, like doing who knows what cosmic shit.
I was doing the floss dance before it was real. Okay, I was hitting the whips and nays before it was even possible to whip and or nay.
I was dabbing with the stars.
You remember the Watchers? Who watches the Watchers? I watched the Watchers, and they were pretty sick.
But the bright side is, y'all have to keep up with this joint after I leave, so I'm already 1 foot in the grave. Joke's on you, bitches.
Fuck you.
But our third anime is called Dai-Guard.
Dai-Guard.
And this series started in October 1999 and ran to March of 2000. 26 episodes. It's streaming on RetroQuest, Tubi, and Prime for free. And Dai-Guard is about a monster attack that happens during a corporate exhibition, prompting 3 company employees to defy bureaucracy, commandeer the company's giant mech, and attempt to save the city. Now, this is a series that I chose, and I was looking through RetroQuest, which is a new free and legal streaming service for a lot of these anime and just anime in general. And they had a lot of mecha series on there, and this was obviously the newest that we'll be talking about, and one of the newer ones on the show. And I really liked the look and I liked the concept because reading up on it, it is a giant robot anime, but they kind of play with the fantasy and reality of it, because obviously the fantasy is a giant robot fighting monsters and shenanigans happen, but the way they sort of do it, they sort of talk about the sort of bureaucratic side. Like one of the big things of the show is that the people, even though they know there's a giant monster attacking and the only thing that can stop it is this giant robot, they can't like, there's all these red tape we have to go through before we can start helping people. And then it's interesting to see how they sort of play like realistic trappings on a fantasy world. And then from what I've read, it sort of does the giant robot genre in a different way, in an interesting way, which I definitely felt watching this. So what did y'all think of this?
I hate to say it because it's a giant robot anime. I love the giant robot design. It reminds me of the giant robot in Gurren Lagann, but I found it very forgettable. Like, I don't really remember shit, but I think it visually looks really pretty. It reminds me of like Pokemon from around the exact same time. It could be made by the same animators, but I thought it was very nice visually.
I liked it for the most part. I would be interested in seeing future episodes. I do like the concept of it taking multiple people to use this giant robot. The thing that weirded me out about this show is everyone's face in this show is fucking weird.
I will agree to that, because it's just because it's sort of straddling this line between like fantasy and reality. The stylized anime style, I guess, in terms of drawing people's faces, is sort of clashing with a more realistic take on faces, and it's really kind of jarring.
Yeah, it's really uncanny. Just like there's just one guy who's like a supervisor over these people working on computers, and he looks like the goddamn crypt keeper.
And he had like no nose and just like these like craggy face and like big flared nostrils. Like that's just straight up like a
But like
revenant.
Yeah, but like every character, it seems like their face is too big for their head, and like eyes would be lopsided. And I know that's kind of nitpicky, but it really took me out.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely one of the movies, or it was one of those DVDs that you'd see at Dollar General, and you think, I want to watch this, but it's Cryed's over here.
Oh fuck! I haven't thought about that show in how long?
Jesus, that was a brain blast to the past.
Yeah, get fucking blasted. I just blasted your asses with S-Cryed, baby.
What an ass blaster.
Yeah, I'll blast your ass some more, boy. I'm sorry. S-Cryed's cool. This, I wasn't feeling it. That's just me. That's just me, though. What about you, Wenzel? What do you think about Dai-Guard?
I liked it.
That's it?
Yeah,
Hey,
that's it.
Round of applause for Wenzel.
No, I liked it a good bit, I guess. It's kind of in the same vein with for me with Giant Gorg. Like the robot looks cool and stuff. And I'm like semi interested in it, but not really. I was just curious though about like some of the monsters because the monster designs look kind of cool. I wanted to see more, about those.
The monster reminded me of the that one angel, a mass-produced angel in Evangelion.
Mass-produced?
Masterpiece Ava's?
Yeah, there's no mass-produced angels.
Fuck. It has like a big-ass mouth and it doesn't have any eyes.
Oh, you
It's all
mean,
white.
yeah, the mass-produced Ava.
Oh, that is an Ava. Okay, never mind.
Duh.
Yes.
God, don't you know your Ava lore?
Fuck you. It's been some time. I haven't
Yeah, no.
rewatched it.
Yeah, I know. A lot of their designs, they're supposed to be, I'm trying to think the word. They're supposed to be like abstract, I guess, and like that is a huge, obvious homage to Evangelion.
Yeah, because like it did like that. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw the monster. Because it kind of looks like a four-pointed starfish, and it has like this big red orb in it. I guess that's like its core, and that's sort of the weak point as well. Because the Dai-Guard was punching that the whole time to drive it off. But it was very evocative of the angels from Evangelion.
Yeah, because they all had red cores,
And you gotta smash it to kill them.
Yep.
I like I said, I did like this. It's still, even though I chose it, it's probably midway on my list of the list of ones we saw. Like I said, I think it did some neat things. I feel like I personally haven't really saw explored in Giant Robot series. So whether or not I continue that's to be decided. But I did feel like this probably has some of the better pacing to some of the shows we watched, because I will say, at least for me, some of the other shows felt a little bit slower in their telling.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily to the detriment, but they kind of told a complete story within that episode, and it wasn't really dependent on a cliffhanger or tune in next time.
Yeah.
But moving on to our next series, we have The Devil Lady, which this is an adaptation from 1998 to 1999 of Go Nagai's Devilman Lady, which is a reboot and sequel to his original Devilman series. And this ran for 26 episodes, and it's streaming on Retro Crush and Amazon Prime. And it's about a young woman named June Fudo who lives a detached life as a model until she begins having disturbing visions in her daily life, and she's approached by a mysterious and dangerous woman. It's Cole, you picked this one out. What led you to choose this one?
I picked this one because I love Devilman Crybaby so much. It's my favorite anime of all time. So I said, you know what? Let's just pick Devil Lady. I was looking for the old version of Devilman, but it's not really on anything. So I went ahead and just picked Devil Lady. And I was not really disappointed. I thought it was a little slow, but damn, it hit every horror note right on the head. It was 100% like 90s horror, from the soundtrack to the visuals to pretty much everything. It like if they made a live action version of this, like, I feel like they could do that very easily at the time frame. Now, not so much, but in the current time, in that the 98 to 99 time frame, they could totally have done so. I love the design of the Devil Lady when we finally do see her. She is very spooky.
Yeah, and I sort of like how it felt very similar to the beats of the original Devilman story, but it was flipped in a way, because of, you're working with someone who's of the opposite sex. It's, it's obviously going to be different, but there's also very similar beats that it hits, and I would be interested to see how close it sticks to like both the manga, which I've read, which I saw where it's kind of its own thing. The anime is its own thing.
Yeah, because I remember reading up on it that it's a pretty big divergence from the original manga. So it's more or less it's more aptly described as an adaptation, more so just like a straight translation, because it diverges quite a bit.
Yeah, and I think like I wonder if they would, because of that, they stuck more to the Devilman template than whatever Go Nagai wrote in the 97.
But one of the things in the show that I found really interesting, this could just be something that was in the original Devilman, is the fact that I think they made it sound to where there's possible to be more than like one Devilman or one devil person. Because like they said, she's a devil lady, and they're acting like she's not the only person of her kind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but there were multiple devil people in Devilman Crybaby though.
Yeah.
There was?
Yeah, because people they weren't like, well, I guess what Colt's saying is like specifically a devil
I'm
man.
specifically talking like devil man, like with the ear wings.
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
because because in
okay.
Devilman Crybaby, all of the demons in there were identifying as devil men, and then the other demons were like aligning themselves with Satan or Lucifer or whatever. They wouldn't call themselves devil men. They just called themselves demons or whatever.
Yeah, like they went by specific names. I was thinking like they made it sound like there's more than like one devil man and possibly more than one devil woman.
Yeah, because she said you're a devil man, and like, you know, like that's a title, but also the way she used it kind of hints that like, okay, there's more devil men, like people who could transform or have the similar look and transformation as Devilman himself.
Yeah, like that specific devil. Well, Cole, you're talking earlier about the sort of the horror elements of Devilman. The Devil Lady, and I did want to piggyback on top of that. Is that was one of the stronger aspects of how there was a sense of terror when June was sort of locked in the warehouse, and the werewolf demon Devilman came out. And he was just like slowly stalking her.
The beast.
And he was like ripping her to shreds, because this is a Go Nagai adaptation of one of his works, because Go Nagai is known for very sexually explicit, very explicit violence in his work, and that maybe not to the zenith of Go Nagai's work, but it was definitely present. And so when the werewolf just slashes her open and blood squirts and sprays everywhere, and just like this very traumatized woman. But
oh yeah,
and that trauma, she awakens her devil man ability, and she transforms into the very familiar demon, and she rams her whole arm down the wolf's throat and kills him, and covered in like pink, purple goo. And the woman that sort of led her into this scenario is sort of trapped her in his warehouse, Lon Asuka. She's a part of this shadowy organization that seems intent on combating the Devilmen, but also using the Devilmen to their advantage. But also, as she's trying to coax June to come more and more in tune with her demonic side, the werewolf reawakens. I wasn't expecting that though.
Yeah, and then it grows to like kaiju size, and then Devil Lady grows to kaiju as well. And then it's to be continued.
That was one of the few shows that made me say I'm really interested in watching more. I didn't watch any more, but it really wanted me to press continue watching. I thought like the way she looked. I know you probably brought that up earlier. She looks pretty fucking cool.
Because she looks a bit different in, I guess, her human size form and her like kaiju mode, I guess we can say. Because when her human form, she's like, still has human skin tone, and her hair is just, and her wings and horns are the same color as her hair. But when she turns into her giant mode, it's more indicative of the original Devilman. It was like this teal blue skin and like dark black appendages and wings and fangs and claws. So I guess that's her really tapping into the devil part of her. And I did think the werewolf sort of resurrected form was cool. Like it's just a more like pronounced werewolf feature. Has like all these extra like claws and form, but also he has like a dead body like growing out of his body too.
I guess because he consumed all those humans, so it let him build up mass or whatever.
Or maybe that the corpse in the middle is like that was the original host, and the werewolf has completely subsumed the human that was its host.
Ooh, yeah. Something also too with the subtitles is that his name was Wolver, and that's the name of those like mythological werewolves in I don't know, with I don't want to say Norse mythology, but like I remember in God of War, the newest one, there you fight some enemies that are called wolvers. So that's just a neat little thing, I thought.
The process of being a wolf. So I think that this was a solid first episode, if a bit slow, but I think it has enough substance there to warrant a second episode viewing. But moving along to the series Jonathan picked, we have Iria, Zeiram. This show ran originally from June of 1994 to November of 1994. This is a 6-episode OVA, and it serves as a prequel, excuse me, to a live-action sci-fi action movie called Zeiram, came out in 1991 in Japan. And this story is about a young bounty hunter named Iria and her sort of getting involved in this increasingly dangerous mission to collect a bounty, which seems to be a nigh-immortal, indestructible monster known as the Zeiram. Now, Jonathan, what drew you to this series?
Just sort of the character design. On like the previews, it kind of was like looked like this cool like cyberpunk. The main character Iria, she had a pretty cool design. As far as what I thought about it, I mean it was alright. I really love the design of everything, like the characters, the world, the setting. We watched the dub for it, and the dub was like fucking atrocious. So like
it was so fucking
for
bad.
like I imagine it probably works better in the sub. But yeah, like that part about like the actual like story was kind of like could take her or leave it.
I loved it.
Yeah? What do you enjoy about it, Wenzel?
Like on what Jonathan said, I love the designs of the world. I love the character designs. It's kind of cyberpunk, but it's also kind of like pseudo like everything kind of like feels more like skeletal, biological. I don't know how to explain it. It has a like interesting like feel for it. It like the architecture is kind of combined with like these old type of village settings, but also like highly advanced. Man, it's just really cool. And then like when we get to actually see Zeiram the monster, I was like, holy shit, this guy looks awesome. Like, and like you see him like in I think the cover art, and like the you see him definitely in the intro, and I'm like, man, this looks like one big monster. But I didn't realize that like the tiny head is actually just his helmet. Like that's just, I don't know. I just thought that like just that animation of him and his movements, man, just so cool. Like the weapons and like little gadgets and stuff. It was just all very like, it was all very it was like a very lived in world. I don't know. It was really cool to me, and I wanted to watch more of it.
I really like the designs a whole lot. Like the spaceships, they don't have the traditional like hatches. They just have like a projective like force field. Whenever they get in, they just activate it, and like light sources just close off the hatch.
It's like geometric,
I thought that was,
yeah.
like, really,
Like basically
really
any
cool.
open space on the ship that would be exposed to the vacuum of space, just that this sort of faceted light screen comes across and sort of blocks that area off. And that was interesting. And Wenzel, to your point, the design is to me definitely the strongest part, because it's just it's a very weird blend of like, it feels like, I don't know if it's like a feudal like Chinese sort of architecture and design. It's like very like very feudal, very like pastoral, but also still extremely futuristic with sort of the tech and sort of the overall like buildings. It's like a hybrid of two wildly different eras in the history, or like eras, and all of it just feels like, it feels a little like weird and creepy in a way. Like one of the bounty hunters like vehicles. It's like this umbrella with all these like legs and appendages coming off of it. It just feels like almost too weird to like even like really operate, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then and two, when he uses the way they travel to different parts of space is kind of cool too. They have to go to a station, and then it just instantly teleports them to another station. And what was cool too about the guy with the helicopter thing, his vehicle also has that light screen. So like, even though like he's like a one like very open manned vehicle, he can still travel through space, which I think is just cool. The robots too. There's a part in there where there's a corporation that has like these red robots that like run really fast. And those looked really awesome as well, in my opinion.
Like it just, we keep going back to it because it's so weird, because it feels like it's this weird like schizophrenic, like borderline biomechanical look to a lot of the stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like if you touch some of the machinery in the world, like it would feel like it had like a skin, or like it had like
it'll breathe. Yeah,
like it feels like it's partly alive, and like how everything's like there's a lot of like insect like features to a lot of things. It just feels very like visceral. It's sort of weird, and that very much goes into the I guess the antagonist, Zeiram, which is he kind of has like this appearance of like a wandering monk from ancient Japan. He has like the wide brim, like mushroom cap hat, like the big cloak over his body, but he's such this very like muscle and sinew character, and he's very much like in this implacable man, like he can't be stopped, and it's very disturbing. And plus, there's this little tiny like porcelain face in his hat that's like this gross monster just shoots out this tendril with its face attached to it. It's really creepy to look at.
It's like the little mouth on the xenomorphs that shoots out of their mouth.
Yes, exactly.
And like we said, it's just this nigh invincible monster, because her brother sort of takes up the charge to fight it, and he gets an upper hand and able to like incapacitate it with the same sort of fractal field to contain it. But somehow it escapes, because you see the hat just fly off and start attacking the older bounty hunter, who's just inexplicably named Bob.
Yeah,
like everybody has like a weird sci-fi name. It's like Iria, Zeiram, and Bob. It was just okay, whatever. And then like the hat is like disemboweling him. It made me think of that one guy from Mortal Kombat who throws his hat and kills people.
Kung Lao.
Yeah, but also makes me wonder if the hat is the real body and like it's just sort of attached onto something, because we don't really see the main body again. It's just the rest of the drama comes from the hat, like embedding itself in the technology with its veins and muscles, and like controlling it that way. And it's just like it feels like this weird, like, I don't know, this multi-layered organism is like, because you get the impression that this company is trying to retrieve it because they're using it for some sort of weapon factor, but it's also like this completely out of the ordinary monster that they're fighting.
Yeah.
But also I did think it was interesting that it's a 6-episode OVA, but it kind of feels a little open and shut just from that first episode.
Yeah, like, because at the end of it, they escape the space station except for the brother, who ends up sacrificing himself to blow up the space station, and then they make it back, and that's kind of it. So I wonder where the show goes from here, because there's a lot of like little name drops here and there, little political factions and corporate factions that will probably play into the later episodes. Is sort of that more political intrigue aspects are surrounding the fallout of what happened with that space station.
And I will say, I think it does its job as a prequel, because it has me interested, even more interested, to check out the live action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because as visceral and sort of intense as the designs were in an animated form, I don't imagine it'll be that much more so with like live action sort of puppetry and special effects. Like, I imagine it's pretty grotesque in the actual physical movie. And I think with that settled, we'll go on to our final series of the day, and that's Samurai Pizza Cats, and which is the American dub of Kyato Ninden Tiandi, which is a series, an anime from the late 80s, early 90s in Japan, which is about the misadventures of 3 robotic cat servers who work at a pizza restaurant as they defend their town on a daily basis from a bumbling, evil despot. And what makes this series so unique is that there's sort of a lot of ballyhoo about how it got to the States, because there's a long-standing urban legend that the original production company didn't care enough about the show when they sent it to the States to be dubbed. They didn't give the script. But the reality is, because the show was such an over and done sort of series in Japan, they sort of gave it to America to kind of gave them carte blanche, essentially. They didn't give them the script. They just kind of wanted them to do what they wanted with it, and which is sort of the start of the gag dub concept, where the production company in America, they just do what they want. They write everything from the ground up, and all they really have is just the context from the show. Yeah. And I think that's one of the strongest points for a lot of people, because this came out in America 1990 to 1991, and it was very much in the era of Ninja Turtles, and they poke fun at that in the intro and throughout the show. And this is such a big thing for a lot of people, anime fans in America, because a lot of people grew up with this show, me included, because watching this show today for the show, this is literally the first time I've seen it in 25 years. I was 5 years old when I watched the syndicated reruns of this show, and so it was a big blast from the past for me. And I wanted to see what y'all think, because this is definitely before any of y'all were watching TV, so I'm definitely interested in what you thought of this very, I guess, cut and paste Americanized dub of this show. What did y'all think?
Personally, I didn't like it. I thought it was just a bunch of nonsense put together. Visually, it's fun. It's fun. The opening is very, very fun and very simple. I can't remember the exact tune, but they just say Samurai Pizza Cat over and over again. And I thought that was pretty fucking badass. But overall, it just felt like a bunch of like references that I understood most of the references, but it's just a bunch of nonsense. That's just me. Don't let me hold you down if you enjoy it. I'm sorry.
You should be sorry for having an opinion. God. I'm in the same boat, though. I thought it was a bunch of nonsense.
I mean, I sort of love the absurdity of it, and the sort of tongue-in-cheek jabs at like animation in general and sort of tropes and stuff. I thought was kind of fun. I mean, would I continue watching the show? Probably not, but it's interesting to sort of see this little sliver history, basically.
Hey, look at me. Watch this. I'm Jonathan. Oh, I like the commentary on the political socio climate it had during the times.
Yeah. I like how the Pizza Cats really talk about what year is it? George W. Bush Sr. That's pretty fucking wild.
How do you feel, Jonathan? You offended?
Yes, I am very offended. Because that's not what I said at all, but whatever.
Yeah, that's completely
fuck
different.
you. I know, we're blowing up your asshole.
I'm just saying,
bro.
my asshole's on fire, so thank you very much, bro.
Just ask.
All right, guys, can you please blow up my ass again? I really loved it.
Yeah, I'm making it weird now, bro.
Okay, now it's weird. I don't wanna. I'm going home.
But I was very interested to show this to y'all, because I feel like it would really, y'all would get a kick out of it because how absurd it was. Because I kind of feel like it feels funny to say that was your criticism of it. It's just random nonsense. When that's y'all's bread and butter in real life. It's just random bullshit.
I mean, yeah, that is true, but this was just kid-friendly nonsense. Our nonsense. PG-13
Our nonsense.
Nonsense, baby. We're that South Park humor, that demented, sick, fucked up South Park humor, bro.
I keep forgetting that y'all are still of the age that still think South Park is a good show.
It's got it's got some funny moments. And you know what? Nothing beats funny moments. And the Samurai
Funny
Pizza
that
Cats
people
didn't
ever
have
thought
that.
South Park was funny.
Hey, you're
It's funny
laughing
that that you like Samurai Pizza Cats, Pat. I went there. Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's funny
yeah,
that
fuck
you
It's funny
enjoy
that,
things. Fuck
Samurai
you.
Pizza Cat wasn't responsible for an entirely toxic masculine voice that's arrived on the internet.
Now you're just making everyone feel bad.
Now you're
Great
getting
job.
personal.
Hey, if you get in trouble for telling the truth, you've done your job.
I mean, I don't see what Pat said was wrong.
So I'm saying cancel.
Also, our nonsense may be chaotic, but it has a formula.
That's the exact opposite of chaos, Wenzel.
Yeah, but okay, but seriously though, Pizza Cat nonsense was let's say, oh, you're so beautiful. You don't have to tip me, or like, you don't have to tip me. You tip me in your love, girl.
Okay, that's good.
Or some shit like that. I just
No, that's
wasn't
not.
really...
No, it's nonsense.
Was it?
I'm agreeing
Was
with
it?
you, piece of shit.
Okay, I just didn't care for it. It just felt like baby humor. Throw in some cuss
Oh no,
words,
Pat doesn't
and
like
I'll
cuss
think-
words.
They
Be
said
careful.
pussy in that show, and they said orgy too.
Yeah, they did.
So I guess it's back on the menu, boys.
I mean, like, yeah, it was fun.
Jonathan, anything?
But yeah,
Any-
outside of that, I don't have
Pizza Cat.
Pizza Cat.
Samurai Pizza Cats.
Of the series that we watched today, which one did you like the best, and which one you would consider to continue? Starting with Jonathan.
Shit. Way to put me on the spot because I did not think about this.
Well, it's either I say this or everybody just waiting for someone else to speak.
I'll go.
Well, you go, Wenzel.
Yeah, I'll go. I liked Aria Zeiram.
Well,
I will only continue.
I'm not
Aria
like
Zeiram.
Wenzel.
That's
the
kind of
only
it. I
two of
didn't
these I'm
really
going to
like any of them.
continue,
I was just kind of bored.
And that's Giant Gorg and Devil Lady. I'm gonna continue Devil Lady because I just want to go back and watch all of Devilman now, even the old stuff, because I realize I don't really know shit about it. All I know is the Devilman Crybaby stuff, so I want to check that out. Giant Gorg, really cool, but everything else just glazed eyes, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Iria Zeiram's just pretty.
Wow.
That's all
The
it
two
is.
most
and,
boring are the
what is
ones
it
that
called?
didn't give you glazed
Scientology
eyes.
names.
What?
I don't want to do
just
that.
The Bible. Go
They
read
don't
the
have-
Bible if you
they
want to
don't
know
have
about
cool,
Devil Man.
blood and
Yeah.
guts.
No, read Revelation. It gets pretty crazy.
No, they don't got titties.
No, they got titties in Revelation, Cole.
They got
They got a
they
lot
have
of
a
titties
lot.
in that book.
But it was. I don't want to read the Bible.
Look at me. I'm gonna move at a snail's pace. Oh, look at me. I'm moving at a snail's pace. That's Devil Lady and Giant Gorg.
Why is everybody getting hostile with this?
I don't know. I have nothing against them. I don't hate them. I was bored. That's it. You can like whatever you want. I'm glad you like them. Thank you for telling us.
Why the fuck do you like Iria Zeiram? It's bad.
Okay.
It's just fucking with you. It don't have
you
to
want
answer
no,
that
no. You want to hurt?
seriously.
You want me to hurt you? You want me to hurt you? Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, I don't know.
The one I probably would continue was probably Devil Lady, just because connection to Devil Man, pretty cool. Yeah.
He wants it for the titties.
Shh.
Yeah.
Shh. They don't need to know that.
I like how Jonathan is actually whispering, and I cannot hear him.
Yeah.
Or you.
But one thing about Devil Lady is the designs were really cool. I really enjoyed that final wolf form and the final Devil Lady form. So I want to see more of that. I want to see how the designs get crazier than that, because just seeing that tiny little skeleton person off the werewolf man, I want to see more, please.
Yeah, it reminds me of a werewolf that had a baby Bjorn on.
Oh yeah, baby. Twilight. I think that was a thing in Twilight.
I changed my answer. I actually would continue watching Blue Seed because I have terrible taste.
What's your problem? Do you want to hurt yourself?
Maybe I'm in.
Do you want us to hurt
maybe I'm
you?
fucking into that.
Why did Wenzel send sexy Sonic? I'm sorry.
Oh god damn it.
Femboy Sonic.
Fuck.
Wink.
What about you, Pat?
Of the ones that you talked about, I think I really like Giant Gorg. I thought it was fun. I thought it was had an engaging story. I liked sort of the animation of the era. That's definitely one I want to continue, and I definitely want to go back and rewatch Streets of Cats just to take a trip down memory lane. Just to think of one of the first anime series I ever watched when I was 5 years old. So I think that's a good bunch. And plus, it was fun just to check out series we'd never seen before and see what was out there. So we thank you all for listening. If you have any old anime that you would like to suggest to us, feel free to pass those suggestions along. We'll watch just about anything on here. So thank you all for listening today. You can follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, any RSS catchword there. Please be sure to like, rate, review, subscribe, and all those platforms. It really helps us out, spreads the show around, puts it in front of more people, and it really keeps the show going. You can follow us on social media, on Twitter and Instagram at AYCH Podcast. You can follow us on Letterboxd and Facebook at AllYouCanHear. Follow us on Twitch, on twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear. And all our VODs from Twitch go up the next day on YouTube, and that's also at AllYouCanHear. And lastly, you can follow me, Patrick, on Twitter and Instagram at John Lost His Name, and follow my art on Facebook at John Lost His Name Art.
My name's Jonathan. You can follow me on Twitter at JONIIBOI24 and Letterboxd at JohnOwenSon12.
Colt. Follow me on Twitter at ColtD00. Do a backflip real quick.
Boop.
Oh, you fell. I'm so sorry.
Somebody help him up real quick.
I'm so sorry. We'll just forget about this.
Somebody help them. I'm Wenzel. Thank you for listening. You can follow me on Twitter at Winsy Wilking. You can follow my art Instagram at World of Winsy. Thank you for all of your opinions, if you have them.
Yeah, you don't. Screw you.
The best thing you can do in life is not have an opinion. Or at the very least, keep it to yourself, because it'll only lead to suffering.
Yeah. But if you want to listen to our opinions, we'll be here at same Gorg time at same Gorg channel.
Get the Gorg out of here,
we're not
Jonathan.
scared.
Are you gorging me right now? Get the Gorg out of my face.
Samurai Pizza Cat.
Devil Lady. I can't tell if there's gunshots or fireworks outside. That's the fun game we're
Bob.
playing.
Take care of yourselves, everyone. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.